Nigeria has launched its preferential trade initiative under the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Guided Trade Initiative. Is the country poised to maximize the full benefits under the Trade Pact? Well, Bamidele Ayemipo, the Chief Executive Officer of 3T Impex Consulting, joins me now for more on this. Thanks a lot for joining us on the show today, Bamidele. We earlier had a conversation back end whether or not Nigeria is truly prepared. But let's start off really with the momentum build up until now. In Apapa, Lagos yesterday, we had the kickoff of this initiative under the second phase of the Guided Trade Initiative of the African Continental Free Trade Area. What's your take on the optimism in the air at this point?
I mean, we've waited for this for so long, with guided trade already taking place over a year ago in some other countries in Africa. Nigeria joining now, I think, is a good news. It's a sign that we are ready to trade. It's a sign that we have eventually been able to, because, I mean, I was at a session today and someone said he believed that, or used to think that AfCFTA is a myth, that it's not likely anything is going to happen under that agreement. But what has happened yesterday shows that, look, this is a possibility, and the Guided Trade Initiative is commendable from the Secretariat of the Secretariat of AfCFTA in Ghana, Secretary General, coming up with the initiative, because the initiative is just to test and see how really will this work, what could be the bottleneck, what are the issues. So it's more like a trial shipment to show that this can work. And
talking about the trial shipments now, we saw in 2022 as well now, taking cues especially here, we saw Kenya, the export of tea, coffee, other commodities, Ghana, ceramics, and a whole lot more. What lessons do you think Nigeria should have taken from this? Because if we waited up until now, we shouldn't make the same mistakes as the first round.
Okay, no, we could not do it up until now for a number of reasons. Number one, we didn't sign this agreement on time. We ratified late, and then we now have to start the process. And the office, the coordinating office in Nigeria also had a change of leadership, and then we had a change of government. So many things I think could have, be responsible for why Nigeria is just doing it. It's better late than never. So it's good that we're at least been able to, because we waited for this, and I'm happy that we've been able to do it. So, but the important question, which we probably discuss later on, is what happens after now?
Yes, what happens after now? That's the big question as well now, because a whole lot of focus is also on that. How sound is the quality of our offerings here? We've heard from the National Coordinator for Nigeria of the African Continental Free Trade Area talking about Nigeria ready to unleash an army of exporters. Have we gotten our act in order? We look at the high cost of manufacturing here in the country. We still largely import a whole lot of raw materials. We barely do any processing. FX challenges continue to bedevil our manufacturers here in the country. Rising cost of energy is another heavyweight. So for so many, they would say the pricing of materials or the pricing of commodities or products here in the country is much more expensive than imported from China. Are we still going to have our best?
All you've said are very correct, but the situation in Africa is a bit different. And the reason is because as bad as Nigeria is in terms of the business environment, the issues and the challenges, Nigeria is still among the top 15 in competitiveness index in Africa, and number 2 thereabout in West Africa. That tells you how terrible it is in Africa in general. If Nigeria, out of 55 African countries, Nigeria is around number 15. So meaning that we are better out than many countries in Africa. That's why we are still able to ship those products profitably. The fact, even though our cost of doing business is very high, we are still able to ship those products profitably. Considering the fact that now it's AfCFTA, what that means is that even though I have a high cost of doing business, I'm not going to ship these products to those countries with duty. Number one, most of these products, the raw material, are from Nigeria. They can, because if you are importing raw material, you won't be eligible under this agreement. So you have to source raw material locally, meaning your cost of the imported inflation caused by FS will be out of it. And the fact that you are shipping now to a country where you are not going to pay duty. So those are the things that will be able to help us, that in spite of our challenges, we will still be able to be profitable, which is why we've been able to do from ceramic to shea butter to tiles, to textile, and the number of products that were shipped yesterday.
Yes, but if you were to make recommendations here now, what would be the top priority for you to the government?
Number one, awareness. ETLS in West Africa, similar agreement, has been on for 30 years. Nigeria have not maximized it. Only few multinationals and foreign companies have been able to trade under that. So awareness. Number one, we need the coordination office need to do a lot on educating Nigerian business community on information around what this agreement is all about, How do I register my product? How do I get certificate of origin? How do I fill the form? How do I ensure my product is eligible for preferential treatment to get certificate of origin under this? How do I? Those information are the ones that are not available. For example, how do I get certificate of origin? I know what to do under ETLS. I'm in the space. I don't know what to do for AfCFTA because the information is not in the public yet. So I'm hoping they will make it available. Maybe it's even on their website because they've launched now. I will try to check. So those are the information that need to be available. So people need to be aware, number one. Number two, then we need to get our business exported. All the business that did the shipment yesterday are the big guys, which is okay. But we also know that if we're going to create job with AfCFTA, the SME must be fully involved. And a lot of our SME are not export ready. Those are the things we need to be discussing. How do we get Nigerian businesses export ready? So we have, like you said, army of exporters that will be able to ship, because a number of the exports we currently do to Europeans and America are largely raw materials. We'll be able to do a lot of raw materials.
Value addition is at the core of this message here.
In fact, it's so bad that we can't even do raw material. We can do crude. But these countries, they also have issue with development and production. So they can't buy raw materials. They can only buy finished goods. So we definitely, even if you check the statistics of the current shipment of Nigeria to African countries, is largely manufactured goods, value-added goods, because that's what we'll be able to
do. Do you think we have the infrastructure to support that sort of value addition at the scale we are proposing here? The
scale, now, yes, scale might be a challenge because now we need to expand it. We need to encourage more manufacturing. The government, there's no way, the government must have the support. And in supporting, what I think the government should do is to probably introduce what the last administration did with incentive. Because when you, and it's not just Nigeria that is doing this, even China will do this, US do this, EU is doing this, they're accusing themselves. That's why you currently have an issue with trade between EU and China, because everybody is subsidizing themselves to make it. So we should be ready to support businesses to be able to export competitively, because we need the forex that will generate as a result of this.
Well, Bamidele would have to leave the conversation here for now. We'll continue to keep our fingers crossed to see how well Nigeria performs and the reception from the continental level as well now, and a whole lot of feedback, because at the end of the day, that's the only way we can get to improve the quality of our offerings going forward. Thanks a lot for your time on the show today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well, that was Bamidele Ayemi-Ball, the Chief Executive Officer of 3T Apex Consulting.